that happens. There are people that go off the road, just like we have police departments, right? Vast majority of cops, honest, law-abiding from a law enforcement perspective. But you have rogue cops. You have cops that go Barney Fife on people. I mean, we all know that, and that happens everywhere. That happens in the military. It happens in interrogation techniques. So I think there's more focus there than on the reality of what happened. I don't know what percentage of the time.
Yeah, well, a couple thoughts on that. Number one is John McCain is obviously, and you have to say this. You have to say, oh, he was an American hero and he wouldn't get out of, the Vietnamese prison when blah 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 blah. Great. Now he's dined out. Not that he's dined out on that. I mean, I don't mean to
Right.
castigate him like that. But we are so far past our sell-by date for John McCain. I mean,
Oh my
we were
God.
we were past we were past our sell-by date for John McCain years before I stopped getting haircuts. Let's put it that way.
There's no question. I mean, and oh gosh, don't get me started on McCain. But yeah. All right. So listen, your this vote. We talked about the Cromnibus, and you put this article up on IJR. People need to go check that out, ijreview.com. But so the vote came down. Um, you wrote about this, dude. What's the deal?
Well, from what I can see so far, is that a bunch of Republicans are organizing a campaign to push back against the 1,603-page trillion-dollar spending bill because, as reported on a ton of different news sites, it looks like more of the same nonsense that Washington does all the time. I mean,
Right.
it's full of giveaways, and I mean it that that Republicans just won a resounding victory pushing back against big government progressivism. It, if you didn't know any of that stuff historically and you just looked at the bill and a lot of the details that are in it, there was less than 24 hours between when the bill was completed, when the vote was called for, 1,600 pages long, over $1 trillion. If I just handed you this bill and I said, describe to me the Congress that put this together, you would say, oh, this is back from when Nancy Pelosi was running things. I mean,
Right. It's totally
there's no
ridiculous.
distinction.
Mm-mm.
And and there's, gosh, my Facebook and Twitter feed are just filled with conservative calls for rejection of this thing. And the
Boehner's
one,
head.
yeah, the one that I just saw a second ago, just came across. The title of it was something along the lines of, if there was any time ever to make a agenda-driven conservative statement about governance,
Particularly in the
wouldn't
House. Yes.
particularly in the House, if there's been any time in the last, I don't know, let's say the lifetime of me, if there's been ever a time to make a definitive statement of conservative principles, to draw a big, fat, huge honking line in the sand, wouldn't that be today?
And this is exactly why the fight exists in the Republican Party that the liberal media loves to talk about, loves to exploit, because there's people like you and I and Ted Cruz and down the line that believe exactly the same way. I mean, it's just almost incomprehensible. I mean, the Democrats got their asses handed to them in the midterms, and Boehner acting like he still needs to fold up like a cheap lawn chair to the Democrats, with few exceptions. And I've looked through this thing. With few exceptions, this looks like a Democrat bill, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I just pulled one of these articles up right now. It's on Breitbart. The nuclear option: if Republicans don't fight now, they never will. And the guy's quoting Boehner's comments last week. Frankly, we have limited options and limited abilities to deal with this directly. Boehner said when asked about President Obama's unconstitutional executive actions. Limited options, limited abilities. There's nobody who won election this past November running on a platform of careful, mincing, scared, timid response to a limited House of Representatives. I mean, they came out saying, we're going to absolutely go for it. Now we have cowering timidity and hand wringing and fear of what's going to happen. It's insane to me.
Boehner again has no backbone. I mean, sure, they could put up a well, a couple of descriptives I had, although we're not. Yeah, I don't want to say them, but could have put up a strong bill, knowing that it would be defeated by Harry Reid's Senate before January, but not so much. And
Yeah, it's just a way to say, look,
here's what's
this
coming, folks.
exactly. Say, hey, you know what? This is what's coming, and this is the way we're going to go about doing all the things we told the American people we would do that got us elected. I mean, we're basically on the cusp of one of the strongest Republican Congresses
Since
in,
Harry
I don't know,
Truman.
yeah, more than a decade. Plus, you've got all these states behind it. Now is the time to say it's time to frickin' bring war.
Dude, I don't know what pictures, audio, video, or whatever have you that Obama has on Boehner, but it's like Boehner is Obama's bitch. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. If now is not the time to do it, when would be? I mean, that's the way this article concludes. If not now, when? If not
And
right after winning a landslide election, when? And that is perfect. I mean, use the power that you've just been given. Use the wind at your back. Use the clear and convincing percentages to say, okay, look, we need to fund the government. Here's a 27-page bill that identifies the priorities we've got and where the money is going.
well,
Harry
see,
Reid, suck on this.
exactly. And listen, here's Boehner in a nutshell. The wind at your back analogy. Boehner's more concerned with the wet your finger and stick it in the air and see which way the wind blows right now. Because and here, let me back up the bus here a little bit. So the vote 214 to 2000, geez, 214 to 212, right?
Right.
Not one Democrat, zero. Let me do this the other way. 100% of Democrats, with no exceptions, voted against this rule bill. 100%. Not one Democrat voted for it.
Oh, absolutely. Because somewhere in D.C. there's a bar that all the Democrat legislators go, and after this thing, they're all sitting there sipping their, lemon drop martinis or whatever, and they're absolutely howling. They're absolutely howling when
But
think about on the opposite side what the House and Senate had to do to get Obamacare crammed down the throats of Americans, because they had far less of a power situation than the Republicans now have. And they said, look, this is what we want to do. This is the agenda that we feel the American people have elected us to pursue. And hell or high water, we are going to go for it. So last night they're sitting there, or today, whenever the hell it was, they're sitting there hoisting their drinks, laughing at the gelded, wimpy, whiny politics as usual of John Boehner. It's just staggering to
okay,
me.
but here's the deal, and it's I guess two part. Uh, First of all, they being the Democrats, voted for government shutdown. I mean, if this resolution would not have passed, this bill would not have passed, this rules bill, there would have been no vote. And that's followed by the second part, which is you could have had, well, I don't have the math in front of me, but if every Democrat, everyone, as happened, votes against the rules bill, and enough Republicans join them, and the bill is killed, who would the liberal media blame? The
They're going to
Republicans.
blame
The
Republicans.
Republicans.
I mean
Absolutely.
that question is axiomatic.
Right. It's
Yeah,
just
it's so here's the deal is the next question is What do we have to do to get Trey Gowdy to be our Speaker of the House?
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting when you think about it, and you look at the flip side of the coin. I mean, by all rights, any Democrat in the House and or the Senate, I believe this. Other than they're so far gone that they can't even rationally think anymore, i.e., Nancy Pelosi and Wasserman Schultz and so forth, that would vote to keep Nancy Pelosi as Speaker. You got to challenge her sanity. Same thing in the Senate with Reid. I mean, I think to an extent, and we heard this last time with Boehner. You have the Ted Cruz crowd and so forth. Man, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can come up with is when you're in a leadership position, you've been there for a while, you have so much power around you that it's like the proverbial, if you're going to try to overthrow the king, you better get it done, or you're pretty much done. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Well, maybe the combination of 20 to 30 smicks a day and way too much time in the tanning booth, he just forgotten what happened a month ago. I don't know.
Well, you might be right. I mean, maybe as many of us suspect that Botox has seeped into Pelosi's brain. I mean, maybe the hours and weeks and months and years of the tanning booth have somehow fried Boehner's brain.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this. In fact, let me just pull up Drudge and see if there's any more news on this thing, because you got to think that there is a whole bunch of folks. Oh, the vote was postponed.
Wow.
Here we go. Updated at 2:30 p.m. So this is less than an hour ago. Unsure whether they have the votes to pass a $1 trillion federal spending package, House GOP leaders on Thursday delayed a final vote on the Cromnibus. They did so with mere hours to go until the government is set to run out of funding and just before the House was scheduled to vote. GOP leaders called a recess to floor proceedings, with the GOP leadership aide confirming no conference meeting is planned at this time. We have to vote this afternoon. So they tabled it out of concern. They tabled it out of concern that they were going to lose.
Well, yeah, they do those test votes and stuff too. So the whole thing, you talked about this yesterday. We said it happens every cycle. It always comes down to the 11th hour. The theater is incredible.
It's ridiculous, Mike.
It's completely ridiculous.
1,600 pages with less than 24 hours to go through and read through it and vote it. I mean, let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that every single page of that $1,600, or excuse me, every single of those 1,600 pages was written as a result of a conference call between Milt Friedman, Murray Rothbard, Adam Smith, and Thomas Sowell. Okay, let's just say that those four brainiacs all got together, and that resulted in this 1,600-page thing. Even in that case, somebody voting on that with less than 24 hours over which to evaluate it, in my opinion, needs to be sent home.
Bingo. I mean, I agree. But again, same old, same old.
Yeah, and how disappointing is that? I mean, we're less than a month ago, Republicans take over, and we just looked at some of the things that these folks had to say and the resounding response to Americans, and we're like, okay, finally, this is going to be awesome. You know what I want to find out? I want to find out what Mitch McConnell has to say about this. So as disgusted as I am with John Boehner, I wonder what things Mitch McConnell has to say. You talk about something, I'm going to look at that.
Well, I mean, just back to Boehner. I mean, the only thing that would be more depressing about what he did and what we're talking about here would be if he carries that forward in January. I mean, you control the Senate. Speaking of Mitch McConnell, hopefully, if Boehner tries to continue to fold up like a lawn chair to Obama, that Boehner McConnell slap him upside the head and say, what the is wrong with you, man? We're the collective